sight that every eye should behold. So beautiful with more than silver and gold. She's like food for the soul. Now eye candy, cause in God she's clothed. Baby girl, a brand name, she rockin' wherever she sold. She rise up early morning, making moves all day. Always bow down, don't forget to pray. Cook that good food, know her family straight. She humble with grace, no sacrifices too great for her. She's so wise and strong, won't compromise. Know where her value lies. Open mind, closed eyes. Emanates, eminence, radiates, elegance. You need proof, God exists, she is the evidence. Cause you are. Virtuous woman, yeah. Cause you are. Virtuous woman, yeah. Only fair that you deserve your praise. On your work at the city gate, you are. Virtuous woman. Yeah, she's a blessing, a gift to everyone in her presence. Came from a single essence.
Welcome to the Proverbs 31 show, Attention to Prayer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Thank you all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another enlightening episode of the Proverbs 31 Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Sister Student Minister Dr. Eminence Muhammad, and I am thrilled to have you join us tonight. Here on the Proverbs 31 Woman Podcast, we strive to empower, educate, and uplift women by showing valuable insights and inspiring stories that touch on various aspects of life, health, and personal growth. Tonight, we have a very special episode lined up for you. We will be exploring the profound topic of aging with grace and tranquility. In a world where the pressures and challenges that come with aging can sometimes overshadow the beauty and wisdom that comes with it. We believe it's essential to highlight the grace and tranquility that can be achieved with the right mindset and practices. To help us dive into this topic, we have an extraordinary guest with us. He is a beacon of health and wellness, a true inspiration, a devoted father. He is the founder of Supreme Health and Fitness, and accomplished entrepreneur, a prolific writer of numerous health books. He's an educator and a devoted yoga practitioner. His journey and insights have touched many lives and has inspired and motivated people to pursue better health with his godly energy and his beautiful spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Brother Sean Ali to the platform.
Oh man, praise. Yeah.
Peace and blessings, brother.
Peace and blessings, man. I'm sitting back here. You got me. Woo. I was like, who's she talking about?
Talking about you.
Yeah. All praises due to Allah.
Yes, sir. So, Brother Sean Ali, we are honored to have you with us tonight. Thank you for joining the Proverbs 31 Woman Podcast. We are excited to hear your wisdom and insights on how we can all age with grace and tranquility.
I'm happy to share it. I'm ready. Yeah, let's get it.
So let's get started. Brother Sean, can you begin by sharing a bit about yourself and your background and what inspired you to dedicate your life to health and wellness?
Selfish reasons, because I didn't want to die. And I've been sick most of my life. Right. I was born sick. So, it's only two types. You're either born with it or you cause it through your lifestyle. I fell under the category of being born with it. So my first 30-something years of life was terrible. It's like terrible. I died at 19. So it was purely selfish reasons where this world either was you're too young, and I'm 50, so this is 30 something years ago. This is so the technology, the science, the education of the doctors weren't wasn't as expansive as it is now. You know what I mean? So what I was going through then might had I've been experiencing it now, I might have had more medical help. But at that time, it was little to none. So 1990, 91, when I experienced my life and death situation, it was a you either you live with it and you try to live healthy so you can try to live longer, or you don't and you're just going to die young. And this is at 19. So, and I didn't want to die, but there was no help. I'm already at the best place to get help, and they were telling me it was nothing they could do. So it was
Yes.
nowhere else to go. So shortly after that, I found the Nation of Islam, and then shortly after that, I found how to eat to live. So
Yes.
it was like that. That was the reason of what got me started, because I was sick. I had already died. There was nothing that could fix me of this world. So I had to find a way to fix myself.
Yes, sir. That's amazing. Amazing.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes,
So,
yes, exactly.
yes. So that is what got you into health and wellness, was because you had to become your own doctor. Like the Bible
Yes,
says, physician, heal thyself. That's
yes,
beautiful.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
what led you to establishing Supreme Health and Fitness? When did that come
Because
about during your journey?
everybody kept complimenting me through my 20s and 30s and 40s, telling me how good I looked and that I never looked my age. And then, hey, what do you do? Okay, I got you. Here's my card. So it went from um, you asking me and me just telling you to me asking you and me say, oh, let me turn this into a business. And that was because I was
Yes.
into bodybuilding first. Um, and because of my body, in me trying to fix myself, I had to go into the order that it was in. So I had to develop my frame. I had to make my frame strong enough to carry me, because I couldn't barely walk at one time. You just like I could barely take a shower. I almost needed a wheelchair. I wore knee braces, the stuff y'all see me do now. Listen to me. I just started doing that stuff. I was I just in my late 40s and 50s, going into 47, 48, 49, I was still broken physically. I could barely raise my arm over I was in a state of panic, because the older we get, the harder it is to recover from certain things. And these aren't illnesses, these are injuries. You know what I mean? So that's a
Yes.
different, like a muscle sprain. Like these things are when we get age, acquire those ages, they become hard to recover from. So I'm approaching 50 scared. Like, hold up. And I got my daughter. I have a 13-year-old daughter. I'm a single parent, and her mother is 10 hours away. So there's no, oh, you can go. It's all on me. So I was really in a state of panic. But, you know, I had a chance to practice what I preach at this point. But I don't want to get too here, because I know we got some great questions lined up. I don't want the audience to miss out on these answers that I got lined up for us. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yes, sir.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
let's get into some good questions. Could you
Right.
share some insights into your approach to aging gracefully and maintaining tranquility amidst
Mm,
life's challenges?
yes, yes. I had that at 40, and I don't even know if I got the book over here, but I got a book that I wrote when I was turning 40. And it was, hey, we don't have to grow old. We don't have to get old. And at that time,
Yeah.
I'm in I'm in school. I'm studying. I'm on a collegiate level studying now instead of on just on my own. So now I'm having
That's
that opportunity for that expansion of those peer reviewed articles. You know what I mean? Like, and I got a professor that I can having that exchange on. You know what I mean? So I'm getting that feedback instead of me just forming it on my own. So now I'm becoming a professional, right? So now
yeah.
it's in biology, it's okay. We hit that cellular senescence. That's what when you look up
Mm,
aging, you're going to find the word senescence, right? And or cellular senescence. And that's when the cell, it's not dead, but it can perform its function, but it can't reproduce life. Gray hair,
mm,
wrinkles. These are examples of, because the hair, the gray hair is still hair. It's still, you can curl it, cut it, but it's no life in it, right? So it's waiting to
right.
die. It's waiting
Yes.
to die. Right. So this world says it's irreversible, but all praise is due to Allah. See, I'm a student. So at the same time, at 19, when I'm told there's nothing this world can do for me, I find the Nation of Islam. So at the same time that I'm moving to fix myself, I'm also moving as a believer in the teachings of the Nation of Islam, right? And how to eat to live. I, I had to crack this first because that's what I
Yes.
needed out of the teachings first. You feel what I'm saying? So from 19 to now, I'm moving off of this and I'm moving off of this because in this, he says that God, this Savior, has the ability to make us like we're 16 and we stay there.
That's right.
That's cellular biology. That's not abracadabra. So the same spot that you find cellular senescence, you find the the key to the fountain of youth, right? Because it's all in the condition of our cells. It's not abracadabra, it's just the condition of our cells. And if we go and look at that cell, it's all organelles. So it's not, we know it's calculated, it's measurable. We can see it. We can see the condition of it. We get a microscope. You don't even have to, it's no guesswork. You can
Right.
see, if you get a strong enough microscope, you can see on the X or the Y chromosome at the end of it, it's a protective cap called the telomere. And it's made out of nucleotides, the same four nucleotides that the DNA is made out of. That's what the telomere is made out of. So as the cell reproduces, the telomere gets shorter until it eventually uh, evaporates or disappears. It's similar, just like if on your shoelace, that piece of plastic on the shoelace. For those of us that, especially old school, when that piece of plastic comes off, that shoelace starts to unravel, right? So that's what happens with the
Right.
DNA. When that telomere wears down, that DNA starts to unravel. That's where we have cancer and all of these other cellular mutations, right? So telomere is made out of telomerase. It's an enzyme that the body produces. The body has an endless supply of telomerase. Our lifestyle interferes. So now we lack of exercise, lack of sunlight, lack of rest, lack of mental stability, you know what I mean, emotional stability. It interferes with the body's ability to produce telomerase. So the telomere gets shorter. It has nothing to add on to it. And now it only takes 80 cycles. So by 40, 50, 60 years, you've worn out your telomere and you've destroyed, and this is at a cellular level. So now we only know food and this and that. We don't go to the doc, the ER isn't going to give you this. Your primary, your primary, your PO isn't going to give, because this is not what they study. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that they're
No.
trying to mislead you. You're going to get, if they go to you, they're going to get the answers that you study, that you have. You know what I mean? So it might be different than mine, but that's just what we study. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but that's the aging process. This world says it's irreversible, but it's based on, it's your cells. So if you, like, for
Yes.
instance, there's only two types of movement in the body: involuntary and voluntary. Involuntary is all the internal organs that keep you alive and that keep us alive: the digestive system, the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system. All other movement is voluntary, right? So that means that I have to voluntarily move my body in the condition, in the position, in the condition that I wanted. That's what we have this vertebrae for. The spinal column connects us to every part of our body. It connects the brain, the thought, to every part of our body. So even the parts that are involuntary, that I can't move on purpose, it's surrounded by voluntary muscle, so I can influence it. I can't move my heart, but I can produce a thought that lowers it or raises it. I can't move my digestive system, but if I go walk, and I will improve peristalsis, because the digestive system moves off of peristalsis, involuntary muscle movement. But my voluntary muscle movement of my abs and my obliques can push that fluid along through my digestive system. So even though I can't directly influence those parts, I can manipulate them and move them by moving the rest of my body. I just have to know the thought. So if I know that this vertebrae
That's
or
right.
is connected to this spine, or this my adrenal glands, right? So it's already the HPA axis, right? It's already the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland axis. It's already the SAMS axis, the sympathetic adrenal medullary axis. It's already a pathway there. I can just use it on purpose or not. You feel like it's already a connection to every part of my body, to my brain.
Mm.
I just have to know how to use it. My thought travels, so that's the key, is once you understand that part, now we can unlock all of those other parts, because they are under my control anyway.
Yes. Yes. That was such a beautiful response. And our audience is chiming in and bearing witness. And I myself, I am completely in agreement, especially with the last part of what you said. You can change it. I can change it. We can change it ourselves. And that is what they're not going to get when they're going to their physician, because their medical doctor only speaks medication. And
Exactly.
it's just not enough.
Exactly.
When you think of mind, body, soul, they separated those and they took that from the people. So you'll never be healed because you just haven't met the right doctor. And I love how you put that. It's amazing how when you were told it couldn't be done, you found these teachings. And that is
Yes.
what allowed your faith to grow, that hey, now I know I'm a God, so I'm gonna get this done. So that's Master Fard Muhammad intervening in your affairs, handpicking you, and just like you were able to do this for yourself, you're educating and enlightening people on how they can do it as well. And that is the beauty in you and what you're doing for humanity, because you could have just took this as I got myself together, but you want to go the extra mile and you want
Yeah.
that same healing for your brothers and your sisters. And that is what this show loves. And that's why we're so excited for you to be here, because you represent a true brother to us all. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Oh,
So our
hey,
next,
but look, Doc, it worked. So along the way of me learning this, so I got 35 books that I wrote. All my no, not all, excuse me. My first book that I wrote was Oxygen because I was already a scientist, but I hadn't went to college yet. So now I'm just
yes,
I'm an amateur scientist. But I walked in real quick. I walked in my mother's house. I'm visiting, and she had like she was doing breathing treatments, and I'm like, when did the family start needing that? Because I mean, like I don't like we never needed. So in trying to solve that, I wrote my first book, Oxygen: The Breath of Life in Atomic Form, right? And then I went to college, right? And from that, my term papers, listen, when I was getting my exam papers back, the remarks from my professors was so blowing my mind. I turned those into books. So my college education, my first books represent what I was learning in college. I couldn't wait to share it with Sister Denise was along with me. We was already connected at that time, and I used to call her sometimes because I don't have a lot of friends, and especially scientific friends, because when you can't discuss science with a non-scientific person because they're going to get emotional. I think, I feel, and those
right.
aren't science words. You know what I mean? So I used
No,
to call sis and
no,
be like, sis, this is what I learned. Like, wow, wow, wow. Like, but along the way, the topics, all my books, well, most of them is what I was learning. So as a believer, along the way, I'm a believer. We have in our Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2. What is the duty of a civilized person? So along the way, my whole life,
yes,
I've been trying to also fulfill that. So when you ask me about the love of because at the same time that I'm trying to fix myself, I'm under a belief system that's dictating what is the duty. And because the very next question is, if a civilized person fails to perform their duty, what must be done? And it says they get punished with a severe punishment. And I wasn't trying to. So once when I
yes,
got life, I'm like, yo, this is that's why I don't have these extreme package and I'm not knocking nobody, but you'll see a lot of healthcare, my peers, right? My colleagues, they'll have these certain
right,
packages and stuff like
right,
that and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not trying to necessarily, because I got in it to fix me. Once I fixed me, I couldn't wait to fix or say, hey, y'all, I got something that works. Y'all don't have to listen. If you don't want it, that's cool. But if you know my story, man, you better come over here and get you some of this.
that's right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
brother, that is phenomenal. So, as an author of several health books, what key messages or advice do you often emphasize to promote better health and well-being?
I started with, what do you want? Permanent, temporary, or permanent? So when somebody calls me, do you want a temporary solution or do you want a permanent solution? Because one of my courses of study was pathology. Oh man, listen, I wish I had have found that first, because I would have devoted my whole course of study to pathology, because man, that was the best subject I ever studied. But when
Mm-hmm.
you learn the causes of death, of what could cause your cells to die, it's not magic. It don't have nothing to do with. So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on page 52 of book 1 says that Master Father Muhammad taught him that there is no set time for us to die, that we kill ourselves daily by means of what we think, what we eat, and what we drink. That's pathology. That is the root of pathology. Because when you look at pathology, you will see the number 1 cause of death is smoking. Number 2, poor diet and lack of exercise. Number 3, alcohol. Then you get number 4 is microbial agents. But let the first 3 things on the list is the things that we do. Right? It's not nothing else. It's the thing: smoking, poor diet, lack of exercise, and alcohol. So this is right. Like when we look at aging, when we look at disease, sicknesses, imbalances, autoimmune disease or disorder, all of these things, if we aren't born with a particular ailment or condition, we have to start with, okay, how did you get that? Because if you go to your doctor, it doesn't matter what doctor you go to, you're going to fill out a questionnaire. They're going to ask you your history, your parent, because this is not magic. I got to know. I can't see inside of you. You got to explain to me your condition as best as possible. So we will think that these questions are mundane and really frivolous. But no, that's the only way the healthcare provider will be able to, okay, that's not it. Okay, that's not it. Okay, now we can either know what not to focus on or what to focus on. You know what I mean? So, but that's what I focus on when somebody calls me is, do you want a temporary? Because you're calling about pain, discomfort, swelling, inflammation. I can make that go. It's several things that can make that go away. That's easy. That's not what that ain't. It's nothing special. You know what I mean? Like, so, but do you want to find out why? Okay, let's look at are you exercising or not? Do you really know how to exercise? Do you really know what a sedentary lifestyle is? Right? Do you get enough sunlight? Do you know how much sunlight you really should get? Right? You know what I mean? Like, do you get rest? Because it's like the first thing people will ask me, what do you got something to take? What can I take? You got sea moss? You got, like, it's things that before we get to food, because for most medical exams, they tell you don't eat for 24 hours before you come. I need your body in a non-digestive state, because your body is weaker when you are in a digestive state. You are almost in a state of fight or flight when you are in a digestive state. So I need you for a medical exam to really see what's going on with you. So, but I'm just saying that to say, temporary or permanent. That's my approach to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's awesome. And the audience, they're loving everything that you're saying, but we're going to get into these questions. So my next question for you is, how do you integrate yoga and spirituality into your health and fitness practices? And what benefits have you personally experienced from this integration?
Great. I love that one on the list too when I saw that one, because I physical therapy was a part of my college curriculum, right? So
yes,
it was learning, and it was amazing because it was medicinal versions of exercise. So it was like, if you got diabetes, this is how you exercise. If you got lupus, this is how it had diseases lined up. Look, oh, doc, listen. Oh man, doc, this thing had, hold up. This thing, where's my book? I ain't even got the books over here. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm taking this science. It's blowing because I was already into bodybuilding. I was already into the health and wellness, that the fitness scene, the muscle and fitness scene. I'm already there. You know, at that time, I'm like over. I don't even want to tell that story, but um, I'm like now I'm learning that because if you gotta like the first thing they tell you before you exercise, go see your get a heart exam, right? Because you're putting stress on the
Yes,
heart. Right. You know what I
yes.
mean? So how many of us do that? You know what I mean? Like I know who does that? Who goes to you? But it was I didn't I mean it changed my because I'm practicing what I'm learning. The things that are working, I'm turning them into publications for my clients and
Yes,
people. You feel so
yes,
that's along the way. Right. But
yes.
yoga is because remember, like I said, I could barely walk. I had back problems. I mean, my nervous system was shot. So that high intensity training, it's really, it sends you into fight or flight. It really introduces stress into your body because we are aerobic. And when we exercise too hard and too long, we can't breathe fast enough to supply oxygen. So the body switches to
Mm,
anaerobic without oxygen, and
mm,
it uses
mm,
lactate acid as energy. And this is
mm.
where the soreness comes at. It's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle syndrome. When you get that pain, the longer it hurts, that means that's how much lactate acid you had built up in your body.
You are answering these questions and you are teaching, and it's just amazing because I know you know what you're talking about. And it's very, very, very refreshing because there's two things that you said, and I bear witness and I agree. I come from the medical world first, and then I switched over to holistic, right? But one thing I admire that you keep stressing is the the benefit of going to college. Because if you really want to be able to help people, I mean, it's okay if you want to be a healer because there are people who are naturally healers. But when we're talking about anatomy and physiology
Mhm.
and how the body is made and how the body was created and made to function, you cannot properly heal people if you don't know what you should. I'm going to say this one word: contraindications. If you don't know
Oh,
what you should be away from, I
Doc,
mean,
Doc, hold on. I'm listening. Go ahead, Doc. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. Because you are speaking my. I got it. This
so
book is my
it's
herb book, and I devoted it
okay.
because I couldn't find no herb books that spoke about the contraindications. Like, hold up, y'all just
Mm,
talking about the benefits. What about the side effects? What
yes,
about if you taking it
what
and it could hurt you? You know, you need to
hurt you
know that
so
part.
bad?
Yes.
Mm.
I'm sorry, Doc. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So I mean, I know you. I mean, that's very serious because even when during the pandemic, you know how people were taking CMOS. I had so many people I had to tell, please don't do that, and they're looking at me like, no, CMOS is good, and I'm telling them, not for you. You know, not for you. You're gonna kill yourself. And it's just something simple as that. Food can keep you here, and food can take you out. So
Yes.
I'm going back to my questions, but I just had to say that because I want the audience to understand that this is a professional that's on this platform. And when I put the letters behind your name, it wasn't try to boost any ego or try to, say this or say that. It just said that this brother believed in what he wanted to do to help humanity so much that he took his time. And time is the most valuable thing we have, not money, but time. And he went
Yes.
and he got this education. so that when he's talking, you should be listening. But you know, the humility that comes when a person knows what they can do is sometimes not as loud as people who are just trying to make a dollar. But that's why this platform is existing, to bring people like yourself before the world to say, look, he's one of our own, and this man knows what he's talking about. And you know, in the South, they say what? Bona fide. He is
Yeah,
bona
yeah,
fide.
yeah.
So
Praise be
that's
to
what I
Allah.
wanted to stress right now. Because even with
Yeah.
what you just said about working out, you know, there's a stress test for that. Your heart. I mean, all of this needs to be
Yes.
addressed and considered, but no doctor and no, well, I'm going to say this, no self-proclaimed doctor, no self-proclaimed wellness coach and all holistic practitioner is taking the time to really get the physiology and anatomy, because you have
Yes.
to. There's like so many different sciences that you need to study before you start giving people healing
Yeah,
herbs and concoct.
exactly, exactly,
You rarely, you
exactly.
know, if you know, I think I've known you for about 15 years, and I have never, you never see me tell people take this, take that, take this, take that. No, I mean, because I know I don't want your blood on my hands. You might die. And it's because
Yeah, yes.
I know some people are going to take everything you mentioned at one time because they just want to be healthy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm glad that for the audience, listen to this brother, because this brother is telling you from a scientific standpoint. And there's a brother in the comments, brother Winifred Ray. He said he's a scientist. Alhamdulillah,
Yeah,
that is a true scientist because you're studied and you know what you're talking about. So if someone follows your advice, it won't be detrimental. It'll be beneficial. So I'm gonna get
oh
into my
yes,
next
yes,
question.
yes, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Yes,
So
ma'am.
my
Yes,
next
ma'am.
question is, being a devoted father like yourself, because you said you're a single father, how do you instill healthy habits and a positive mindset into your family's lifestyles?
I just be what I want them to see, because we know the once I study, and this goes into listen, I it's my one of my college courses changed my life. I'm all my listen, I'm going through these courses, doc, and I'm like, yo, I'm practicing them. So when we get into the mind body connection, these and going into psychology, and we learning the psychosomatic and how the brain, I'm going into neuroscience. See, it's a difference between I was already interested in these things beforehand, but I just was only stuck with Google. Now that I got access to this college's library, you don't have that in public. So now the information that I have access to, it doesn't you like it doesn't matter what they're teaching me, it's what I can go learn. You feel me? So and it's like, bam, okay, that was but when I learn on neuroscience and I'm learning how the brain works in neuroplasticity, and the brain works off of visual first. Okay, so it will visually recall, it will recall a visual before it recall words. You know what I mean? So now once I learned this, it's
Yes,
like, okay, my daughter's maybe 2 or 3. So now it's like I'm just going to be what I want you to see.
that's
So
right.
it's follow is if whatever I do, you do whatever. Like I'm not going to do nothing that because you're going to do that anyway. That's how we're
Right.
mimickers, right? We're mimickers. So if when you drive, who did you see do that? That's what you're doing. When you stub your toe, whoever you see do that, that's what you women, when your cycle come up, y'all repeat the women that y'all see do that, whether it's on a commercial, a movie, or what was in your home. Men, When we go through, we repeat what we saw. I shaving like him. I tie my tie like him. I do my. So we're mimickers. So my best thing, like, okay, if I know this is how your brain works first, I'm not going to spend my time saying, "Hey, listen, boom, boom." I'm going to just do. So I'm going to now your muscle memory of me, of seeing me, that learned behavior that you're seeing. When it comes time for you to go cook, you seen dad every day with at 1 or 2 go in that kitchen and start cooking meals. So when you go to eat, you don't have any recall of me doing any. So when you see me, because my daughter is with me in a lot of my videos, she's there. She doesn't exercise with me, but she sees me exercise. You know what I mean? So she is going to develop that. And whenever she goes to pick a mate, that's what she's going to see. So I'm 2 birds with 1 stone. If you want to, in the future, we can talk about it, but you're knowing how the brain works. It's not even looking for words yet. It's looking for action. At that age, it's looking for action. So we say, if I could do it again, I would do this. I would do that. That's what our children are. We got to teach the baby how to talk. So if I could do it again, this is the words I would say. Bismillah, inshallah. See, this is what I would want to hear and say as a child. You feel me? I would want some navy beans and wheat bread. I don't want, you gave me the McDonald's fry. You gave me the chicken. I don't see. So this is what I do to instill. It's my time to be a child again. My home, this is why I don't show it, because it's not a museum. It's built, it's child friendly. You can play on the wall. Every wall is marked up. We got carpets on top of the floor, so you can spill on the carpet. I'm not going to suppress your childhood because I want to be an adult and I had a child. I'm not going to do stop, no, don't. Because for most of us that got a child, we've caught I walked in, my son, 2 years old, this dude on top of the cabinet. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I hear something. The hell? I'm going downstairs. I hit the light. Boy, how the hell you get up there? Boy, get out before you hurt yourself. But see, this is what children do. This is God. See, they know how to be God because they haven't been suppressed. They haven't learned the limitations yet. They haven't been told stop. See, we put clothes on them, don't get dirty. We put shoes on them, don't mess with. No, we suppress the godhood to explore, to look, to be that scientific nature. So we make them adults. That's what my 13-year-old daughter, she doesn't know anything her peers know. I don't have a life to get back to. I'm not trying to hurry up, get you growed up so I can go ahead and continue. No, because I'm getting my youth back through you. Shoot, I'm ready to have some more so I can get young again. Shoot. Yeah.
That's right. I love it. We have a lot of comments saying, love the energy. We're going to go through those comments a little later when we do our Q&A session. So everyone that's tuned in, please write questions that you would like to have answered by our brother, and he's going to answer it at the end of the show.
Give me something hard. Give me something hard, man. Give me some atoms to crack, man. Give me some atoms to crack, man.
Okay. So I love that you said that, because Jesus tells us in the Bible that you have to be like a child in order to come to the father. You have to be like a child. And sometimes children grow up just too fast. And then when they become adults, they want to act like children because they never got a chance to just be. And I love that approach. You know, it's like for our children, they should just be free. They don't have the
Mm,
burdens because they didn't create themselves. We brought them here.
exactly.
We birthed them. So it's up to us. And I love that you said that you're living again because that's how it is. When we see our children and then our grandchildren, that is just us living on and on and on
Mm,
in the infinity loop. And I love
mm,
that you have a comprehensive knowledge of that. And it's not just with our own children. That love has to be extended to all children because it's not a selfish thing. It's just an understanding thing that,
mm.
hey, if I give children love, they grow to be adults that know that the world has love and then they give love as well. So I think that's a
Yes,
beautiful concept.
yes. You know what my daughter tells me? I'm gonna be the only one to take care of you when you get old. I said, yeah, because that's all I'm talking about. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back.
That's right.
See, yeah, 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 take it, yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. So, what role does nutrition play in your overall philosophy of health? And are there any
Oh,
dietary tips that you like to share with our audience today?
great. I like that question too because I'm not. I'm a certified nutrition specialist. That's the CNS, and nutrition was a couple courses. Um, and this is what I discovered that the science of nutrition is for those who are non-melanated or less melanin because all of these ingredients are byproducts of the sun or the earth. All of the minerals are in the earth. All of the vitamins, they are byproducts of the sun. So those that can't go out there and get it from the sun, they discovered vitamin A, scurvy, vitamin D, iron. So all of these were discovered by non-melanated people because their bodies can't get it
Mm,
directly from the sun. So when we started to take ourselves, because during slavery, you can look at every slavery movie, as horrific as it is. Them people, Kuta Kinte got his leg cut off and had to get up and go to work the next day or he was getting killed. The movie with
mm,
Nat Turner that they just did on Nat Turner. They whooped him. He hanging on the post overnight. They cut him down. You either gonna work or you gonna die. Cause that was the only choice the slaves had. No diet, poor diet, no medical attention, poor medical attention. But they got pictures of slaves with hundreds of scars on their back. What allowed these
yeah.
black people that we are descendants from to heal? They were outside in the sun. See, they had that ingredient.
Mm, mm,
So when that sunlight hits our skin, it's dermal vitamin synthesis. They openly admit. Now, they openly admit that our bodies can synthesize vitamins A and D directly from the sunlight. Nutrition science. Now, when you open up that science book and you get the vitamin D, it says 90% of our daily vitamin D intake must come from the sun touching our skin. So
mm,
when we're
mm,
looking at the science of nutrition for original people, that's the science of sunbathing and earthing or grounding. Because the plants, when we look at
yes, sir.
it's it's called the tropic system, our energy system, the pyramid. The plants are at the bottom, the biggest. They're called the producers. Then the first stage of eaters are herbivores. Then you got the carnivores. Then you got the omnivores, right? But when you look, the plant itself is a living being. When a plant eater eats the plant, there's only approximately 10% of bioavailable energy in that plant that we can extract from it. So when we're looking, when we look at it from an energy perspective, that everything is energy. Science says that everything gets its energy from the sun. The plant can only give
Yes.
you approximately 10%. So this is why when we look at How to Eat to Live on page 53 of book 1, we are getting a description. And he says, if you eat one meal a day, that'll give you a lifespan of 140 years. If you eat one meal every 2 days, double it. And he said, I asked him about one meal every 3 days. He said, brother, you'll never get sick. So when we look, what could allow us to eat that minimal amount of food, but still have everything we need to be healthy and strong? The sun. We just recently started to take ourselves out of the sun. That's recent. When we go back, like we just recently started to not walk. You know what I mean? We just recently, so we weren't making energy. We weren't out there in the energy source. I grew up, you had to get out the house. My mother used to lock the door until dinner time. Dang, y'all can't even come back in. You
That's
forced to
right.
stay out. Yeah, we don't do that nowadays. So but now we are nutrition, like the sea moss. Like, you know, what they say, it got everything that the body needs. Okay, but growing up, they only said it was 9 things that we need from food, right? We got 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates,
Right.
fat, and protein, right? That's the only thing that you could get energy from. Is if I don't see, oh, come on now, let's talk some science now. I'm a certified nutritional specialist. We got macronutrients and we got micro, so big and small. The macros
Mm-hmm.
are, and they are, energy is calculated in calories. So when you see calories, that's measuring the energy in food.
Mm-hmm.
That can only come from the macronutrients: carbohydrates, fat, protein. Vitamins, minerals, water they have no cap. They cannot, you can pop all of the vitamins, minerals you want. It's not, it can stimulate you, but there's no calories in them. So there's literally no energy in them from a nutritional perspective. So when we say things like eating sea moss, I got energy. How? That's impossible. The body uses the what energy has to, everything is cells. Everything in your body is cells. So it doesn't matter
That's
how
right.
it looks. So the cell has a mitochondria, one of the organelles. That's what's responsible for producing the cellular energy. It takes oxygen and glucose and it metabolizes them into ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It's a 3-chain molecule. So
Yes.
when that cell needs energy, it breaks that chain. The energy is contained in the bond. It releases the bond, the energy is released. That's in the cell has the energy. That's energy, family.
That's right.
Everything else,
And
man, they conning us. They trying to get your money. They trying to get your
uh,
money.
yes.
They trying to get your.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because it is through these modern medications that is destroying the ability for our bodies to even utilize the ATP process properly. And I
Yep.
want you to go into that for the listening audience, how the hormones are being disrupted when they consume the foods that should be giving them natural energy, but it's being compromised because of all of the genetically modified food, which are chemicals that are disrupting the natural chemical process of the body. And that's why people are really sluggish. Can you just elaborate on that? Because I know there are people watching this who are drinking energy drinks and trying to figure out what is going on. So I do like that you brought up ATP. Me and my husband was actually just talking about this. That's why it's like such a confirmation, because you're probably the only person that I've ever heard mention that. Because, and that's the key right there. When that process isn't taking place, that's when you know you're at risk for that hypertension and that diabetes, because your body is no longer functioning properly. Your neurotransmitters are not producing the right responses and stimulants that are, your brain is needs to be rewired at that point. But can you just go into that for our audience to understand that being tired is not normal and Red Bull is not going to fix it? So talk
Right.
about that.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And that's, I mean, everything is, you know, the metabolism is two parts, the catabolic, the anabolic. The catabolic, when you
Yes.
put something in your body, it breaks it down, basically. The anabolic uses it for energy and building blocks. At the end of the process, whatever is left over is what you are right now. You like,
Hmm.
so that when they say, so this is, and that's how I use basically for my clients to look, that's our metabolism. You put something in the catabolic, the first part of your digestive system, as an example, is your stomach is breaking everything down. That's all it does, is just breaking it down into very small pieces. Now it gets into the duodenum, goes into the jejunum, and now it's being absorbed, sent into the liver, where the liver will now disperse it to be used, right? For either energy, whether it's one of those macronutrients or it's a micronutrient as a building block. And that's whatever is left over. That's exactly what you are right now. When we are, the messenger says in How to Eat to Live that our health isn't consistent because our diet isn't consistent. We eat good one day, eat bad the next. The body has to process all of that, the good. In fact, he says every meal has poison in it. So we eat no more than once every 24 hours to allow the body to digest and to get rid of the poison so it doesn't accumulate. So when we looking at from that level, we're not even gonna use terms like good food, bad food. We just gonna put it all in there, because if we don't treat it all the same, it won't work. Right? He says bread and milk will keep us alive indefinitely. In the very next sentence, he says, but eat it only once a day. Right? So when we looking at that, when your body's taking it apart and it has to use it, if it's something that's not natural, we have to ask ourselves, if I put something in my body that it doesn't want, need, is unnatural, artificial, what will I feel and what will happen to me? Because the messenger said we're missing the science of cause and effect, right? So this is health and wellness. That's why the doctor asks you, well, what was you eating? They might give you a 24, 72-hour window, depending on what you're saying is going on. Have you been to foreign places? You've been drinking foreign water? Because when you
Right.
process, your body has to process whatever you put in it. And once it processes it, now if it's a Dorito, the energy from those molecules or those atoms, they're not touching, they're bonded together. Those cells are so when that bond is broken through the chewing and through the stomach acid, and now it's being used. See, the body has to deal with that. A Dorito is
Yes.
artificial. So the energy we get from it, you might feel something, it might get you something, but it's going to be a crash. Now the the carcass, if you will, has to be dealt with. The body doesn't know how to deal with this artificial material. It's like, man, I ain't never seen what is a Dorito?
Teach.
What the so now it's going what is it going to do? It's going to hold it. It's going to produce fat to protect it, to hold it right there. See, fat is a response now. See, I don't know if that but I ain't gonna go. So it will, and now it will be stuck there because the body doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't know. It doesn't know what to do with it. So that's one of the conundrums that occur because when we're looking at gaining weight, right? There's only two types.
Yes.
The bones don't grow. So you're either collecting, or three types, excuse me. You're either collecting muscle, fat, or you're storing it in your waste in your intestines. That's it. There's no other way for material to, you know what I mean? So it's either I'm collecting adipose fat tissue, I'm building muscle, or I'm storing it in my intestines are swelling up. So a lot of this is with the calories, it becomes both. High calories, artificial, because you're getting the energy now. 30 for every 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. That's how you can calculate it. So if you look at it, when they be like counting calories, for every 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of adipose fat tissue. So to lose fat is only energy in versus energy out. If I consume more energy, I'm going to gain. If I consume less energy, I'm going to lose. If I consume the equal, I'm going to remain the same. That's a simple equation because this is dealing with energy. But when you eat something that's high calorie and you are not using, your body doesn't have a need for those calories, it stores it as fat. It turns it into fat. So you'll turn it unseen. You'll turn the unseen into the seen.
and Brother Sean Ali. So what you're saying is, if an individual is eating more than one meal a day, the body cannot process all of that intake, so it is going to store it as fat because it needs to place it somewhere. That exactly is what he's saying, everyone. The body cannot compute. The body's like a big computer. The brain is a big computer sending all kind of signals. So everything you eat has to be processed and put somewhere. So if you're eating more than one meal a day, it's going to go straight to fat cells because it will never be able to break it down to have that ATP process take place that our brother was just talking about. Just so y'all all understand how serious it is to eat one meal a day. Hold that book up again, Brother Sean Ali, How to Eat to Live, because that book right there trumps every science of this world. Because our brother also told us that as a certified nutritional individual, he's a specialist in that field, and yet what he learned in that field is not for people that look like you and I. I bear witness. It's not for people that look like you and I. So the best thing that you can do is get you a good holistic doctor and a physician that can get your lab works together, because you have to monitor your blood work. So if you're going somewhere and you're not having regular blood work check done on you, then you might need to find somewhere else. But get you a place that you can have lab work done, get you a holistic, even if it's a coach, a doctor, whatever, somebody that can assist you. But our brother said, don't get so caught up into taking herbs and supplements. Those are to repair damage that is from an injury. And once that damage has been repaired and those cells have began to rejuvenate. So if you're taking supplements because of an injury, that's good because you're putting your body in recovery. The body's main function is to fight for homeostasis. So once you know that you are well by getting your mobility checkup, because you can do physical therapy and don't have to go see a physical therapist. The brother said
Yes.
yoga is a good practice that can help you, because it's kind of like calisthenics, right? Because you're using your own
Yes.
body weight against your
It's
own
like
body weight.
prayer. It's like
Yes.
salat.
See?
It's like
So
it's like salat, man. Yeah, go ahead.
So, and look, the brother is also a licensed massage therapist. So that is
Yes.
also, we're going to get him to talk about the benefit of massage therapy. That's my next question to you that just came to me, because I really want you to talk about that, because I notice every healing modality that you have is so beneficial to repairing the cells in the body, in the muscles, and
Yes.
starting at a cellular level. And I want our brother to go into that. So, Brother Sean Ali, take it away.
Yes, yes, yes. And that was another one of my courses, you know, going into that. And especially with those that don't exercise, not, and I hate to use the word exercise because we'll get lost in that. Because
Right,
you can exercise and still be sedentary. Sedentary just
right,
simply measures how much you sit during the daytime. So
right.
it's measured in hours. From my studies, it's measured in hours or 30 minutes. Like for every 30 minutes, you need to move for 5 minutes. Not at the end of the day. If you sit for 30 minutes now, you need to get up and move for 5. Then you can sit. You don't want to sit for 30. But if you do sit for 30, I had a client, 4 bypasses. And stayed in the hospital for 4 days before they were released. No complications. The instructions for the first 10 days, you had to get up and move for every 10 minutes. Listen now, this is a 70, 65-year-old patient. 4 bypass, quadruple, right? Every 10 minutes she had to get up. Could that it was killing her because she was like, man, I didn't move this much before. So just imagine that if these are the instructions, because at this time,
Right.
this was a couple years ago, it really made, because I'm like, oh, I know the doctor isn't wrong, but so it made me relook at what I was doing for myself. You mean like, hold up, because if he's telling you need to get up, or it will undo everything that they just did to save your life. Every 10 minutes,
Hmm.
you don't have to go nowhere. You just have to get up. It made me now at this time, I already was into it, but it brought it back to my attention, what they call the sitting disease. You know what I mean? And because a lot of people that come to me for massages, this is what they're suffering from. They're not causing their
Hmm.
muscles to contract enough. So they have to get it mechanically moved. You feel what I'm saying? Or they're over moving themselves because they don't know how to exercise.
Right.
And now they need to get that mechanical manipulation. But it's a lack of knowledge that was involved. But I mean, it's literally a game changer because even, and it's not because you did something wrong. I don't want to have that connotation because it's an ancient
Right.
practice. Oxytocin comes from us touching each other. That's the love hormone. You know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
not just right. The healing hands. That's one of my books. Once I learned it in school, I created
Yeah.
the book called Healing Hands because the Reiki, all of these practices, they're dealing with energy. And it's not just as a therapist and a practitioner. When we're looking at that higher level, there's a transference when we touch each other. So in my skill set as a massage therapist, I'm not just using it to unloosen a knot or that's cool too. But I'm
Right.
saying when we are looking at it for a
Right.
healing potential, we if depending on my spirit, my emotions, it's the triboelectric effect.
Yes.
That's when two objects of matter touch, there's a transference of electrons. So I leave some
Yes.
on you, you put some on me. And that's the healing hands.
Yes.
That's that the healing Jesus touch you and heal that's a part of that's
Yes.
science. Cause this yeah.
Yes. Man, it is. And also when that happens, I know you probably have a story or that you could share of a patient's progress, a client's progress from day one, first massage, to like month or 2 months later after like 4 massages. They're because they'll tell you. So I know you have something like that you can share with us just as a testimony of one of your clients.
Oh yeah. That and see, and I also try to teach them how to perform on themselves as well, right? Because it's not about a business to me. It's about helping you to put yourself, because the more dependency we have on somebody else or an external, when that's not available, then what are
Mm.
you going to do? You feel what I'm saying? You can't
What are you
afford
gonna
to have yourself stuck, especially when we're dealing with health and wellness, pain and mobility and things like that. Because that's usually what they're coming for: pain and mobility, to increase, to improve that
right?
posture. So that's and I had one man. It's like you know I think they become kind of addictive. And they'd be like calling you, be like, man, ain't nothing wrong with you. Hey, you just, I mean, because at the same time, like I say, from 19 on, I'm being a believer. So I'm trying to adjust my mindset to what I believe along the way. You know what I mean? So it's lines that I wouldn't cross, don't cross, that I put for myself, you know what I mean, to protect myself. So, and it's like, it just became that where it was like you calling me, it seems like you calling me to do something else, man. That's more of what, and I had to ease up off of
Oh,
that because I'm like, that's not how I want to make money. I
right.
mean, like that's not, and that's not, that's not. I really even like I'm a cosmetologist. I'm a licensed cosmetologist here in Maryland, and all my sciences disciplines, I try to focus on the healing part, the healthy part, not just uh the like I don't want to just help you to look beautiful. I don't want to just help you to look, be well. I learned how to not die. You like like I learned how to not die, man. So I'm saying, look, I want to that's because all of the other stuff, your body is trying to work it out itself. You can't if you
Yeah.
don't get dependent. If I show you, you can how to unlock it. You won't need this external no more. Even
That's
even at the
right.
detriment of me losing your business. You feel what I'm saying? But that's my approach to it. It's always been okay. I will do it, but I'm not trying to make it long term. And I tell if you call me, man, look, I mean, we can be long term or so knowing each other, but I don't want no long term client on nothing. If I can't fix you within a couple,
You kn- exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, I want to fix you.
Exactly.
I don't want to, yeah, I
Exactly.
want to fix you. Yeah. So if your body is messed up
And I
and you need
agree.
that, I want it because my body was broken one time. Like I say, I needed all of that. At 16, I had a Chinese doctor. I don't know. My mother, he lived there. So It wasn't that we went and found them. It just so happened that that was my doctor. And he used to do acupuncture. So from 14, 15, 16, like on my back, I'm getting all of these with the complementary and alternative therapies done on my back. Like I say, acupuncture, the stones, the heat, shock treatment. Like I because I was in this state of disrepair. So I understand. It's nothing nobody can tell me. The knee problem, like I could barely walk at one time. Like I understand. But once you get repaired, these are medicinal therapeutic properties that you shouldn't need long term. Now I could see for a relaxation, that's something different. But I'm saying I'm coming from a
Right.
medicinal side. You know what I mean? Like
That's
you shouldn't need this long term. Uh-oh. Did you freeze up, sis? Did I freeze?
we can hear you just
Okay.
fine and clear, sir. I'm going to begin reading some of these questions. The
Hmm.
first question that we have, can you see it on the screen, brother? You can see it, the question.
Yes.
What are causing a lot of
Mm,
men in our community with prostate cancer and other related problems?
mm. I mean, that's a combination of, having all of those meals and being constipated and having the intestines and the backed up with all of that food and pollution. Because when you look at prostate cancer, the 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 physical symptoms are usually the same. They have that protruding stomach, you know what I mean? Then they filled with stress, not getting enough rest. Because the body is, as sister said, doc said, it's always trying to achieve homeostasis. So whenever there's an imbalance, it just means your body couldn't achieve homeostasis. So if you got a, a this developing like a tumor. You got a tumor, certain, it just, your body wasn't able to achieve homeostasis, so it just kept on growing. It, when that's what disease and sickness is, your body's ability to achieve homeostasis or not. It's several things that could affect it. But with us as Black men, we have to include stress because that's what shuts off that part of the body. So it's no energy, it's no life, it's no
Mm,
repair able to go to that part of the body if you are under a state of stress, because that's fight or flight, that's emergency. You feel what I'm saying? So along with not just poor diet, but excessively eating, hijacking the digestive system. So it's always in a state of if your body is always in a state of digestion, it can't do anything else. It, so if you wake up
nothing else.
and right, because if you when you wake up, your stomach isn't activated. The digest none of so when you eat, now the body has to send energy to the so now your energy is here. It's located here. So now when you have eating too much, you start to get those back pains, what they call sciatic nerve pain. Nah, you've hijacked your
Mhm.
nervous system. See, because it's devoted to these organs because they need nutrients, they need energy. So now your bloodstream, because these organs are active now. So now they need blood and oxygen and nutrient. The stomach needs blood and oxygen and nutrients, right? So
That's
so the
right.
spleen, the kidney, the pancreas, all of these organs now need energy because they are activated. So you do it at breakfast, you do it at lunch, you snacks, but we hijack the energy. When you just
Yes,
like when
sir.
you eat, you mentally slower, you might want to sit down. Whoo, man, whoo. Yeah, how we do like, boy, that was it. Woo, I'm tired now. You know what I mean? We
Yes, sir. So we're going to go to the next question, and it's from our sister Prisha Muhammad. And she says, for someone who has not been exposed to how to eat to live and wants to start a healthy lifestyle in their 50s, what changes or what starting point would you give that person?
um well, if you're gonna eat, food needs a reason. So food is building blocks or energy. When you are sitting still, your body doesn't need that much energy to keep you alive. That's why, like, resting blood pressure, resting heart rate is 60 over 80. Resting blood pressure is 120 over 80. Because when you're sitting still, it shouldn't take that many heartbeats. It shouldn't take that much pressure to keep you alive because you're not doing anything. So if you're not doing exercise, is what depletes energy and uses energy, right? Which the exercise is what causes the building of the muscles. It's what gives food purpose, right? So you have to, that's why the number two cause of death is poor diet and lack of exercise. They go hand in hand. And a poor diet isn't just what you're eating. If you eat it at the wrong time, you know what I mean? If you eat it too much of it, it's more than just eating the wrong food. You know, a lack. And so when we looking at that as a totality, you have to have that combination of moving something and improving your diet at simultaneously, because exercise gives your food purpose. If you're not doing anything, you have no reason to eat. It requires, you are good if but getting up, exercising, I'm building muscle. So now when I go to eat, the food has a purpose. You know what I mean? If not,
That's right.
this is when you're going to collect it, and you don't want that.
So the next question is from Regina Muhammad. She says, how can we start healing at a cellular level? How can we start healing at a cellular level?
Man, fasting is number one, because after 19 hours, you're going to activate autophagy. And autophagy is auto means self, and phagy means eat. So it's self eat. And it's literally the action. Everything is cells. So everything is cellular level, right? Because it's nothing else but cells, right? So fasting causes autophagy, activates autophagy. That's one of the ways the body will clean it out. Now, if you add exercise, that will increase the energy that you're using and the nutrients that you're using. So the body will further turn to clean itself out, right? And now, once we do that, that's where how to eat to live comes in. And we make sure we're the right foods. He said the right foods at the right time. So the right food, one of the right times, 4 to 6. But before I get to that 4 to 6, I've exercised. I've created the condition inside of me. So when I go to eat, my body will use what I eat without any waste or exercise or excess that will be in my cells. You feel me? But to clean them out, the only way to clean out a cell is autophagy, unless you doing some type of medication. But the herbs, them talking, that stuff is. And I got a herb book, so I'm a herbalist. That was a lot of my course and study. And I'm not saying it doesn't work. But like Doc said, it's to treat if I got pain, inflammation, discomfort that I'm trying to temporarily overcome. That's what these things do to really heal you. If that's your life, are you exercising? Are you getting rest? Are you getting enough sunlight? Are you breathing right? Are you drinking right? Because we're 75% water.
Right.
So hydration comes before nutrition. So
That's
that's,
right.
that's the order. Right. That's the order.
And I have to say this while you're
Mhm.
on that topic right there, and then we're going to go into our next question. Drinking, hydration is the key. And that is also how a lot of our illnesses are being formulated and starting. That's like the
Mm.
root cause, because these coffees are over caffeinated and they have too much artificial sweeteners inside of them. It's like, even if it says sugar, it's not cane sugar. Even if it says
Mm.
0 calorie sweetener, it's not stevia, it's not honey, it's not maple syrup. So it's just being mindful of what you're drinking as well, because a lot of people are doing like liquid diets, liquid fasting, and you can bear witness, they're not considering what they're actually taking in their body is worse than food, because they've made the drinks into high calorie beverages. It's just unbelievable. They have all these fancy names, but if you don't watch out, you'll gain weight from drinking those beverages. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then all the high fructose corn syrup. So I just wanted to,
Yes.
because you mentioned hydration, a good source of liquid. Make your own juices, like nothing wrong with a smoothie.
Mhm.
Our next question says, what are your thoughts on acupuncture? Does it help?
Yes. I got a book. I don't know where my book is at, man. Listen, I got a book called Healing Hands. Listen, your brother studied all of that, man. Listen, yes, yes, acupuncture, acupressure. You don't even need the acupuncture. We got this. Oh man, where's my book? Listen, yeah, you can touch different parts of your body, right? And it will cause, because it's a nervous system. So all you're doing is just like playing a music, a piano, if you will, right? And you were just stimulating, activating. Because when we look at the brain, at uh, at the brain, real quick, look at the this is the frontal lobe, but the parietal lobe, like right here is the divide between the parental lobe and the parietal lobe, and the neurons that move our toes going up to our shin, our knee, going into our trunk, our chest, our head, are right here. This is how we move it. Now, the corresponding sensory neurons are right here. So the toes, knee, and it's like that's how the brain is built. So I'm saying that to say, when we are receiving this and moving ourselves, like this is the connection, man. Hey Doc, I'm sorry, I don't want to go too. I'm not trying to go too far in these questions. I'm trying to make them
No,
short
you can
so
go
we can get
ahead.
them. So we can get. Oh, okay, okay, okay. But that's. I mean, once we, because the
Our
knowledge of
audience
self,
is
when
loving
we
it. They're enjoying it.
praise be to Allah, but that knowledge of self that we, especially we in the Nation of Islam, that's our saying, knowledge of self, basically. It goes beyond who I am, where I am, who is the original man. Like, how many bones do you have?
Yeah,
How many muscles do you? Because these are permanent numbers, 206
exactly.
bones. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so if we don't know these things, when something when we feel one of these sensations, first thing we say is something is wrong or I'm sick. So we literally, we it could be just the
right.
body, because we don't know what healing feels like. We don't know what the immune system feels like, because they told us inflammation is bad, fever is bad. Like, these are all immune responses also. So at the same time that our immune system causes pain to protect you, it causes fever to kill certain, like, viruses. It causes inflammation. It causes congestion to protect. we will experience these things, and we've been trained to say, I'm sick. Because somebody said
Right.
mucus is bad. Mucus covers your eyes. It covers, like, mucus is a part of the body.
That's
You
right.
mean like it's not no sickness? It's not
Right. That is so true. So we're going to go right into this next question.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
says, what are the healing properties of the navy bean? How important is that bean to our diet?
That's a great question. I can tell you why I use the navy bean. I use the navy bean for page 5 of book 1 and page 170 of book 2. Page 5 of book 1, he says that he could take one of our children and start them off on the
Mm-hmm.
navy bean soup and make that child live 240 years. I'm a child. Hey man, I don't care what nobody say. I'm on that for 240. And on page 170, he says a diet of navy bean soup will make us live 140 years. So I don't know any other the other reasons, and I've studied some, but I'm on it because I'm trying to get to either that 140 or that at least because he says that if Noah and Methuselah saw a man or woman talking at 200 and 300 talking about they old, he said they would laugh at him and say, that's not old. That ain't old. So I'm talking about at least. So it takes 75 years to learn how to live. So I will at least secure for myself the ability to learn
That's
how to live.
right.
So that's why I
That's
mean I like how Dr. Wesley broke it down, when one of his lectures on the milk and the navy bean, and I just refer people to that, you know what I mean, or other scholars. Like I go for it because them two numbers right there.
yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, we're taught by the messenger, he said no other being did he advise besides that navy bean.
Oh, you're the navy
So
bean
that was
specialist.
enough
I
for
mean,
me. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
it.
I, yeah, yeah, yeah. I let you like
That's
I.
why.
That's yeah, yeah. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to.
That's why. So, and that wraps up tonight's enlightening episode of the Proverbs 31 Woman podcast. We hope you found our discussion on aging with grace and tranquility both inspiring and informative. A heartfelt thank you to our incredible guest, Brother Sean Ali, for sharing his profound wisdom and experiences with us. Your insights into health, wellness, and graceful aging have truly enriched our understanding and provided valuable guidance for our journey towards better health and well being. To our wonderful audience, thank you for tuning in and being a part of this empowering conversation. Remember, aging with grace and tranquility is not just a goal, but a continuous journey. And with the right mindset, practices, and support, we can all achieve it. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, be sure to tune in every Tuesday, the same time, the same place, while we bring you more episodes of Building Healthy Relationships. And tonight's episode was so phenomenal, and we have to have our guest back at a future date if he wants to. But for right now, we
Sure.
want him to tell everyone how they can find him, follow him, and learn more, how they can order your books and how they can support what you have going on. And this brother has said several times that he is not in this for a monetary gain. He's in this because he seriously wants to help other people. And if you go on his page, he shares so much knowledge, and he gives so many different techniques on how to self heal and just how to have a better life. And all of you that are tuned in, if you remember anything from this show, just understand that everything that he talked about is on a holistic level. meaning that you don't need no fancy machine. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need anybody telling you do this or do that. What you need to do is seek yourself, sit with yourself and decide that, hey, it's time for me to make a change. And then you reach out to a specialist like our brother. So you don't waste his time. I just want to put that out there because he's willing to help, but please don't waste our brother's time. Please don't contact our brother just to ask questions that you don't want the answers to. Please take the advice that our brother is going to give you and buy his books and read his books. But always remember that time is the most precious. I'm going to say that we talk about money, but time is more valuable than money. And when you reach out to someone, respect their time, respect their years that they put into study. And, you know, it's okay to have questions and approach things with a little bit of doubt and suspicion. But I'm telling you now, our brother has went to school, and everything he's talking about, he can bring receipts. That's what our young people say. So with that being said, is there any closing words, Brother Sean Ali? And please mention your platforms that you can be reached on and how your books can be ordered.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate the invite. You and your husband, man, my brother Mark. I appreciate that because he said that this was the makeup for him not inviting. So we cool. Tell him we good. Tell him we're good now. So this makes up for it. But I appreciate, you know, coming through. Sean Ali. You can find me on Facebook, Brother Sean Ali. TikTok. I'm more on TikTok. I'm more active on TikTok. Man, I love TikTok. You can come on over there. You might see your brother a little bit more because I always get in trouble on Facebook. So I'm suspended now for the next 4 or 5 days. So I can't, you know, sharing and stuff. But my platform, supremehealth.info. Listen, if you have, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. The only difference with me is I try to show you how fun and easy it is. That's it. So when you come over here, you're going to expect to laugh. You're going to expect, you might cry, but it's going to be some happy tears. You know what I mean? You ain't looking to be no long-winded. Like I say, I don't develop long-term clients because it should not take that long for me to get you in the condition that your body needs to be in. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if you're like me, 50 and over, fitover50.org. You know, you can come on over there. I got something for us, old folks. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's fun and easy. Listen, but over there, you don't just get fit. This is where the fountain of youth, man. I'm gonna show you how to unlock that fountain of youth. Oh my. Oh boy, yes, we gonna grow young over there. But the books, Amazon, you know, you can find them on those websites. But if you usually my name, Sean Ali, and I got 35 books. So, but my name might bring them up if you go under the books, you know. But you can find them under supremehealth.info or fitover50.org.
Yes, sir. So now with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out in prayer. Do you want to do it, brother, or do you want me to do it?
You can go ahead, sis. It's your platform.
Okay. Yes, sir. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. Thank you all for your support and your love. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.